Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ and welcome to another book haul. So I did fairly good with staying away from buying books since I had such a great book haul for my birthday, more than I typically would, kind of refresh my shelves. And then I got into a reading slump and nothing on my shelf looked good. And so I decided, hey, let's take a trip to the bookstore. And so now I have a book haul for you. Before we get into the books at the bookstore, let me go ahead and show you what I received from publishers. These are all books this is an entire book haul for June and July. So I only made it 2 months before I needed to do another book haul. But I'm very excited about everything I have, so there is that. The first book I want to show is Starbringer. I did receive this unsolicited from the publisher. I am really hopeful that I'm going to enjoy it, even though I did not enjoy Tracy Wolf's other series. I started the first book and I wasn't a fan, but this one is co-written and has a lot of hype, and what they're comparing it to is right up my interest, so I am hopeful that I am going to enjoy it, and I'm going to at least give it a shot, and I will let you know. I also received a finished copy of The Deep Sky. I have an entire reading blog on this book that I will link up here, so you can go check it out. I received a digital ARC, and then the publisher reached out for a physical ARC, and then after they sent me a finished version, and I am not upset about it because I adore this book. I think that it's going to be on, I'm nearly positive it's going to be on the top list of my favorite books of this year. It is super queer, it is super sci-fi, and it has great characters, and it's kind of like got a little bit of everything, a mystery to it, and it's just like a thriller. It's just such an interesting book. So I highly recommend you check it out, and I am so excited to have a finished version for my shelf and to show off. So that is everything that I received in physical version from publishers this month, or these last 2 months. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you some of my book boxes. From Illumicrate, I received The Sun and the Void. This version is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. It is a romantasy, so I'm really hoping that I like it because I want to keep this book on my shelf because it is so gorgeous. Also from Illumicrate, I got The Witch King by Martha Wells. I am about halfway through this book. I really need to finish it. It is a fantasy. I'm really enjoying it. It's a little slow, but not in a bad way if you like fantasy. But it is kind of why I put it down, because I felt like I wasn't like reading fast enough, which is a horrible trap that I get caught in. But I was really enjoying it. I really do want to finish it, and I'm super glad that I have this beautiful version of it. From the Unboxed Books box, I have The Fitful Sleep of Immigrants, and this is a LGBTQ book about 2 men and their relationship when it comes to deportation and just like the ups and downs. And I don't know a lot about it, obviously, but I am excited to read it because I don't read a lot of, like, it's hard to find adult LGBTQ books anyways, but then to read some like this hard-hitting, honestly I don't, and so I am glad to pick it up. So, and Unplugged Book Box does amazing naked hardcovers. I also have another one of their books that I haven't even opened yet, so let's go ahead and open it now. Yes, so this is The Borrow a Bookshop Holiday, and this is definitely different than what I would normally pick up. It is a romance about, you can basically go run a bookstore as a vacation, which, even though it's a romance, how could I not pick up a book about a book? Because, hello, that's like my favorite thing in the world. Let me get it out of the plastic. Look at these adorable end covers. Also, it has a ribbon. If you know me at all, you know I'm a sucker for books that have ribbons. All special edition books should have ribbons. End pages. I really hope I like this book because it is stunning. It's just so fun to look at. This might be one, even if I don't like it, I keep. But try not to do that. Alright, so that is all for the Unplugged book box. Next I have my Fairy Loots. I have Shanghai Immortal. This is another one that I'm a little concerned I'm going to like. It seems a lot like a YA fantasy disguised as adult fantasy, and I'm not really a fan of that, but I'm going to give it a shot. I am considering canceling my Fairy Loot adult subscription just because they seem to be sticking, instead of actually giving us adult fantasy, they seem to be giving us YA fantasy disguised as adult fantasy, and it's not the same thing. Which goes to the next book that I have to open. I actually have 2 Fairy Loot boxes to open, and I think this is the monthly one, and I think this is the special edition. So I'm going to open the special edition one first because that is the one I want to open, and that's the one I'm actually excited about reading. So I picked up a special edition of Yellowface. It's so ironic because when we were in the bookstore yesterday, my kids saw this, the non-special edition of this, and they do not like the cover of it at all. And they would not appreciate this one either. But it does have end pages, which I really like. I really like R.F. Kuang's other books. I mean, she's written a lot of diverse books. This one's definitely seems to be different. But then also it's about, like, authors and, again, books about books. But I'm sure it's going to be more hard-hitting than that and talk about, you know, race issues and calling out the publishing industry also. So I am really hopeful that I'm going to fall in love with this book, which is why I wanted a special edition of it. And also, the reason why I'm hesitant to cancel my Fairy Loot subscription is because then I won't get special editions of books like these. So, I'm torn. Alright, so this book I'm not keeping. I don't even know. I guess I will at least open it up to show you it. So I just... Alright, it's my mailing address anyway, so I don't care if anyone sees it. But can we just say that they shipped me a package with the tag of the print, or the tape on it, and I think that's kind of hilarious and ridiculous at the exact same time. But does make it easy to open. So the theme of this box was Eternal Power, and the book is Immortal Longings. And I've seen it. It's stunning. But art prints, that's cool. And then the actual book. This book sent me into a reading slump. I was so disappointed in it. Again, there's no reason why this needs to be adult fantasy. It was YA fantasy. Even the ages qualified. There was nothing adult about it. The political system was so underdeveloped. There was massive plot holes. And I appreciate that some people are going to absolutely love it, and that's great. No shame to anyone who loves this book. I think Chloe Gong is an amazing author. I enjoyed the first book, These Violent Delights, that she wrote. And I plan on reading the sequel. But this book needed more editing, and I think the publisher felt her. Which is sad. But, I mean, this book is absolutely stunning. But I'm not keeping it. It will go up for sale on Pango, and I do use that money to help fund, well, to continue buying book boxes and my writing. So that's how I get money to pay for my own editors and such. So if you're interested, it'll be up there. Alright, the last book box books I have to share are Rainbow Crate. I do believe I skipped 1 month, so I only have 1 month's worth of books to show, but Rainbow Crate does do 2 books in their box, a traditionally published book and an indie book. I am very excited about both these books because their traditionally published book is actually an adult book, one that I had on my radar before it was in their box, and so I am very excited. It has carnival vibes, like Caravel or The Night Circus, which are 2 very different books. I don't know where this one's gonna fall, but this one's queer, so hello. It is called The First Bright Things, and I really, really hope that I like it. The indie book is Prince of Sorrows. I'm a little less certain that I'm going to enjoy this, but I wanted the traditional publishing book, and I want to give this one a shot. Because I do think there is a possibility that I will enjoy it. It is also adult, so yay. It is also non-binary and gender conforming, so I mean, there's actually a lot of things going for this book. I just think it was concerned as a little bit too romance for me, but there may be so much other stuff going into it that I really enjoy it. Also, I mean, Rainbow Crate special editions are fantastic. Fantastic. I get why they can't do this with their traditional publishing books, but when they can, it's going to be amazing. Here is the book plate, signed book plate. No ribbon this time. Sometimes they do ribbons, sometimes they do not. I'm sure there's a lot of other factors about why they can, but come on, ribbons. But yeah, so The Prince of Sorrows. So that brings me to my Barnes & Noble book haul. I wanted to go to the bookstore because I wanted to pick up some nonfiction books. That's actually what I have been feeling like reading. I am in a huge reading slump. Not so much that I stop reading, just that I'm not getting the same enjoyment out of reading. And so I wanted to just pick something fresh up because nothing on my shelf sounded good. Which is ridiculous to say when you think about it. And a very privileged position to be in, and I recognize that. So I did take a trip to Barnes & Noble. I haven't been there in a while, actually. And I try and stay away from there for very, very important reasons that you will see. So, nonfiction-wise, I picked up Miku Kaku's, I don't think I'm saying that right. Anyways, he's a fantastic science writer. He is a physicist, but he combines like really complex things such as string theory into ways that you can understand it. I love his books. I love annotating his books and then going back and like using them as resources. The last one I read of him, The Physics of the Future, was pretty outdated. But this one, I figured Parallel Worlds isn't going to be as outdated as Physics of the Future, because Physics of the Future was like predicting the future, and then I read it like 10 years after the fact, and it was like, oh, well, you got this right and this wrong and this right, and that's kind of how I read it. But Parallel Worlds, I mean, hello, they are an amazing thing to even think about, and for a science fiction writer, there's so many possibilities, but to better understand them would be really important. So I'm very, very excited about picking up this book, so much so that it actually made it to my August TBR. And there were a lot of science new release books as well, and I wanted to buy so many of them, but I didn't. I used one of my mini tools I have for making a decision, which is I told my kid to pick one, and they picked one based upon the cover. And they picked For the Love of Mars. I've already written a book about Mars, but if you think about it, the next step in where we're going is Mars, so we really need more attention on it as a planet, because that's where we're headed as a society. So another book on Mars wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but also just understanding it better would be a good thing, and it's just such a good planet. And look at this cover, which is how they decided for me to buy it. So very excited to pick this up. So my camera died because I just have too many books to show you. So if the framing is off, that is why. Alright, continuing with my book haul. I also picked up a book called Gender Magic. This was completely unplanned, but they redid my Barnes & Noble since the last time I visited it, and it has like this massive nonfiction section, and this is one of the ones I found. So how could I not buy, you know, a queer book to support them actually stocking them in the store? And this is about, I don't know, it's written by a non-binary author about being gender non-conforming and non-binary. And yeah, all here for that. So those are the nonfiction books I picked up and what I had planned to get. I did not plan on getting any fiction, but there's a sale going, and yeah, so I picked up more. I got The Mountain and the Sea. I know nothing about this. It has to do more with an underwater science fiction, which is fun for a change, but this may possibly be why I first picked it up. Yep, paperback, printed, just something so simple, and yet that's what caught my attention, and something different, so I'm here for it. I also picked up Wool. So I originally read this book when it first came out as an indie. It's a novella, and I only read the first part of it, and I never got more of it, and then I know it got picked up by traditional publishing, and then it got turned into an Apple TV show, which I've watched the first season of, and I was like, I need to go check out that book again, and so I did. Picked it up, volume 1, very interested to see, like, how, like, because what I remember reading and what I remember seeing on the TV show is very different, and so I'm curious to see, like, how much changed in the book itself and how much changed on, got changed through the TV show, because, or maybe I read further than I thought I did, I don't know, but there's a lot of pages to read, and I was not mad about having it in a physical copy and rereading it. And then I picked up 2 books that are not science fiction and fantasy, which I know is weird for me, but the Lonely Hearts Book Club, again, it's a book about books. Oh, it's a romance. I don't think I realized that. I saw the books and I was like, I'll give that a shot. Hopefully it's not too romantic, but we'll see. And then I picked up Grunkle. I've seen this on so many lists, and it just seemed like a fun, queer book, so I have been meaning to pick it up for a while, and when I saw it on sale, I was like, yes. So yeah, Grunkle, finally, I'm gonna pick it up eventually. I at least own it now, so that's a step in the right direction. One other nonfiction book, because I wanted to pick up another writing book. So I am a writer. I like reading about writing. I think learning about it from other people is how I can get better, and so I picked up Writing Science Fiction and Fantasy. I saw this before I went to the store, and then saw it at the store when I was just kind of looking at different books to pick up, and I'm hopeful that, you know, it gives me ideas specifically for writing science fiction and fantasy, because I love my 2 books, but that doesn't mean I'm not supposed to keep growing as an author, because I already have, and, you know, you just do, you're supposed to get better, right? If you're going to do something, keep learning and growing at it, and that is my plan, but you should still read my first 2 books, I mean, just saying. That is it. That is my book haul. Did I need that many books? I don't know, but I have no regrets. I'm excited. I have books I'm excited to read and pick up, and that makes me happy. So there we go. Do you see any books on here that I should prioritize? Any that you really want to read, or really have enjoyed? Let me know. Do you see any that you would like me to do in a vlog when I am reading them? Let me know that as well. And as always, keep reading, keep writing, and until next time.